Hello and welcome to Verbal to Visual. Today I would like to share with you the process that I use to make videos like these. Videos that bring together sketched images, handwritten words, and audio narration. So here's what my whiteboard animation workflow looks like, with the caveat that this isn't a whiteboard because I prefer pen and paper, and it's not really animation either because these words and images aren't moving. That's why I tend to call these sketchnote videos instead. But I think whiteboard animation is a more common term, so we'll go with it. I break my process down into 3 stages. There's the drafting stage, then the recording stage, and then the editing stage. Let's take a look at the steps within each of those stages. The materials that I use varies with each stage. I like to start with the cheapest and most dispensable, legal pads and index cards, and it's on those materials that I do my initial brainstorming. Once I have an idea for a video, I jot down a bunch of sketches and phrases that I might want to include in a very rough way, nothing polished, just to get a sense for the details I might want to share, how to represent those details visually, and what words I might include. For this video, I went with a legal pad, and this is actually a lot cleaner than this stage normally looks, but in this case, I think I'd thought about this video enough that it came out pretty clean on the first go. From there, I moved to the second step in the drafting stage, still using cheap materials, in this case copy paper, to do a bit of storyboarding. I tend to stick to a single frame per video, so I treat that 8.5 by 11 page as my frame, and start to get a sense for the overall layout of what I want to share. Oftentimes, since the details of the imagery and the text are already included on the legal pad or index card, I don't even include them on the copy paper. Instead, I kind of just block out where those pieces will go. That's what you can see on the copy paper draft that I created for this video. Once I feel pretty good about that overall layout, then I move to the final drafting stage, grab a big piece of poster paper to create a true to size final draft. So at this step, I'm working with the same materials that I'll use when I actually go to record the video. And here I'll include all of the images, all of the text that I intend to sketch out when I record the thing. That helps me get a feel for what I'll actually be able to include within this single frame. And then once I've completed that, I pick it up off my desk, tape it to the wall in front of my desk, and that's what I use as a reference when I then record the sketchnote. I do that recording freehand without any pencil marks or guides on the page, but I do have my true to size final draft right in front of me. So it's this back and forth of looking up at that final draft and then down to the page to decide where to make the next mark. And I've shared the specifics of my overhead shooting rig in another video, so check that out if you're interested. Once I've completed that video recording of the sketchnotes, I then move on to the next step in the recording process. I hook up a podcasting mic to my laptop and record the audio narration that you're hearing now. I used to script that narration, but I've actually come to enjoy the process much more when I improvise it. And since I've got the completed sketch notes that I just recorded, that essentially gives me an outline to that improvised narration. So I simply talk through each step. Often I'll go through multiple takes to say the thing the way that I want to say it, and even though that sometimes is frustrating, I still enjoy that more than reading from a script, and I think it adds a bit of authenticity. I think the videos feel more natural when I improvise the narration compared to when I'm reading from a script. From there, I move on to the editing stage. I start with the video recording of the sketchnotes, and within the editing software that I use, Adobe Premiere Pro, at first that video is just 1 or 2 long strips on the timeline, let's say 16 minutes or so of video. And what I first do is break that one long clip into a bunch of individual clips. Each time my hand enters and then leaves the frame. So that then is the first stage of editing the video, where I cut out the white space when nothing new is being added to the page, and then set myself up with each of those individual clips to do the syncing up that's going to come a few steps later. Once I've completed that first stage video edit, I then take a look at the audio. I do a tiny bit of touching up the audio in Adobe Audition, and then pull it into Premiere, and complete a similar process as what I did with the video. In this case, cutting out all of the white space in the audio, since I do pause frequently to think about what I want to say next. So I cut out those pauses and cut out all of the false starts, the times when I have to go through 3 or 4 or 5 takes to say the thing the way I want to say it. And from there, with some clean video clips and clean audio clips, I then bring the two together. From start to finish, I listen back to the audio and speed up each of the video clips to be in sync with that audio, so that the things you see me drawing and writing match up with what you hear me saying. And at that point, I'm ready to export the video and either upload it to YouTube and Facebook if it's a public video like this one, or upload it and add it to the latest lesson within one of my online courses. I've come to enjoy this format quite a bit as a storytelling and instructional tool. My approach isn't as fancy or as artistic as something like RSA Animate, but I'm okay with that. I feel like I've gotten to a point where there's the right amount of simplicity to my process that still allows for some decent storytelling and, I hope, helpful instructional materials. Speaking of instructional materials, the reason I wanted to make this video right now is because I just completed my latest resource, Build an Online Course with Sketchnotes. And since many of the folks working through that course will want to make videos somewhat like mine, I thought it would be a good time to outline my workflow. So I hope that it's helpful to see my approach to making videos like this one. If you would like a deeper dive into all of the steps of this process, check out an earlier course of mine, How to Make Sketchnote Videos. And if you think you might want to first learn how to make videos like these, and then maybe build an online course with those skills, take a look at one of my course bundles, The Online Entrepreneur. That 4-course bundle will allow you to jump in and develop a whole lot of skills and save some money compared to buying each of those courses individually. You can find the links to all of those resources below this video. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck trying this process out for yourself, adapting it to your own needs as necessary, and I'll see you again in the next video. Until then.